who can measure time. And if you are still here, there is great, great hope. This morning, the scripture that we talked about at home spoke about how suffering brings perseverance, perseverance develops character, and character, good, sound character, allows you to be hopeful, putting your hope in the Creator who has made it worthwhile for you to be here. So, I greet you well this morning. Please stay with us. We're going to take the first break of the morning. It's 6:31 a.m. and you are listening to Minette Lawrence on the Morning Connection. Pastor Percival will be coming through the door any minute now. I live in hope.
Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back. Well, it looks like the producer and I are going to be a team again this morning because I'm still waiting on the man to come through the door. Thursdays are always fun because we get the chance to be outdoors. This morning, we get the chance to be with Lloydie, who I have told he has to replace the breakfast that we normally enjoy at Ligani Club. So we're going to give a shout out to our friends at Ligani Club who are missing us this morning, JD's Urban Pub, and of course the management and staff of the club itself. Ligani Club is our home away from home for, dear Lord, longer now than I care to recite. Producer and I have had family membership, well, starting first single membership, and then we met at the Ligani Club, actually. Truth be told, we met at the squash court we had the same coach. So the club is very special in our heart, and we're grateful that on Thursdays they have given us the permission to use a part of the grounds so you can see a little bit of Jamaican greenery. This morning, of course, fearing that we would enjoy too much of the Jamaican weather, we decided to be in studio. Um, Shout out to our friends too at JPS. JPS is going through a bit of a rough season, it seems like. Outages are happening with a little more frequency, even in the corporate area where we are. We know that there are some of our brethren in the rural areas for whom it is a daily occurrence and for whom some of the outages have lasted a lot longer than desirable. Not so long ago, there was an announcement, a story in the media that JPS was desiring to expend a fairly large sum, I think it was $2 billion, on improvements to the grid, to their infrastructure, so they could eliminate outages. Um, I meant to speak about it at the time, but I think until we had 2 outages in the last 8 or so hours, or maybe 12 hours in the area where I live, it did not come home to me how necessary perhaps that expenditure is. And actually jokingly said, perhaps they're just letting the regulator see how serious they are and how urgent the need is. It's worth a little bit of discussion this morning because as you are dealing with the hardships imposed by these kinds of problems, energy, the continuity of the electricity supply is important to the productivity of the nation. When you lose power at home, it it hinders you in not just completing tasks that are necessary for home life, but it slows you down in getting back into your productive post. Um, Energy and water, I've had to be the place for one or two persons to come and get a shower because the water supply is so, I wouldn't say unstable, it is inadequate. It is stable in that they know they're going to have lock off every evening from X hour to the next day, so they know that if the things that would normally happen during that period of time, you got to make alternate arrangements. So it's really the stress on the infrastructure that handles those essential services. It's things are cracking at the seam, and there are some decisions that citizens need to take and businesses need to take. Where JPS is concerned, as a monopoly provider on the distribution side, whatever work is required has to be recovered in the rates that they charge customers. And I think that's really where you're caught between a rock and a hard place. I see you rubbing your chin contemplatively. Like, what are you thinking on that subject? I'm going to find the story while you give me your comments, because those challenges that we face with essential, critical infrastructure, we have to, there's no putting it off.
Well, first, let me say good morning to all our listeners, both locally and abroad.
Good morning.
It is, no, as you were speaking about it, I was just recalling last night the issues we were having in our area where the light was fluctuating throughout most of the night. As a matter of fact, at one stage it went, for a short period. Now, the question is, how do you draw the line between the responsibility of the utilities provider and the government, who is supposed to ensure that all the things are in place for them to be able to function profitably? Sorry, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to the customer. The customer wants to get service, and that is what's important to them, and that is not unreasonable, especially when you're paying, the bills that people pay these days. You want to ensure that your service is reliable. I have a friend who is, well, a friend and brother really, who is in the western part of the island, and they have been having issues for 6 years. And what he indicated to me is that despite all the things that he has tried, they have not been able to resolve it. As a matter of fact, it has gotten to a stage where they're not even getting a response anymore. And, you wonder about these things because it is not in an area where they are so far from the supply line that they should be having those issues. And these are things that we need to look at, especially when we're talking about customer service and ensuring that your customers are satisfied. So these are real issues that are out there. And the truth is, there must be someone who will ensure that the quality of the service is maintained. The government is a major player in the utility company. And so they have an interest from both sides as an investor in this in the company itself, and as the persons who represent the people of this country. And it is about time that they pay attention to these things and ensure that the service provider is okay in terms of the fact that they have invested so much money into infrastructure and so on, and also that the customer is satisfied in that a service is being offered for which they are paying, and they deserve exactly what they're paying for.
So I am trying to pull up the story so we could, have go into a little more detail into what JPS is saying. I think it was in Sunday's paper, and I'm no longer seeing Sunday's paper on my my login.
No, it should be in your history.
Yeah, it's 7 days. I only save up to.
Oh, so that's your doing.
Yeah. Do you have it? Can you find it?
I'll check. Yes, I'll check.
I meant to look at it so we could have a conversation on it, because I think it's important for consumers, for the citizens to understand what is happening with JPS when they apply, because they must apply to the utilities regulator if they want to do some kind of massive investment. When you are under a fixed rate of return rate regulation system, you can't just get up and spend money as you feel like.
Right.
You need to clear it with the regulator and ensure that the rates you wish to have,
yes,
can be recovered from the market. Those rates are permissible. And I think they obviously, I know the story came out in the Sunday paper. They're obviously looking to build some awareness of what is required in order for us to get a higher grade of service. I go on their website, and the first thing I saw is an encouragement for us to upgrade legacy equipment, which perhaps is one of the things.
Let me ask you this though,
yeah.
because in telecoms, as you know, there are service level agreements.
Yes.
And I assume it would be the same thing in other utilities, including JPS as well as Water Commission.
Yes. I mean,
so the question is, does the regulator pay attention to these service level agreements?
I believe they do in at some minimal level. Some time ago, and we probably need to revisit it. We had done on this program, I had pulled up the JPS, the license, and the customer service contract, which emanates from the license. It's a document that has to be gazetted, because everything about the monopoly service they provide is subject to regulation. And one of the concerns that I have is that the regulator needs to be working more closely with the company on ensuring that the service levels are maintained for customers. There's a lot of self-regulation that goes on with JPS. If you have a problem and you were to call the OUR, you first have to seek to resolve it within the company. And there's an extent to which I am not satisfied that consumers get the best deal where the handling of complaints are concerned. But there is a system in place which is not unlike systems found in other modern societies. Where we saw the bottleneck is in the area of the technology plan and how JPS is permitted to bring certain efficiencies into their operations. We learned, for example, that more modern and efficient technologies remain the choice of the government policy. There's a political involvement in like when you ask, for example, could you start nuclear energy? Can you start using other techniques that are being deployed elsewhere, other rate plans that are being deployed elsewhere to give customers a break during, peak consumption hours or during the low consumption hours. The variable rate structure that you and I have seen it operate in other parts of the world.
But something is actually has crept into my mind.
Yes.
When I hear you speaking about that and the whole business of service level agreements, we're talking about the quality of service
Quality
that
of
persons
service,
will get.
yeah.
But there's also the access to service because what percentage of Jamaica, for example, has access to the service? And those persons in the various areas, are they being served similar to those, those in the rural areas? Are they being served similar to those in the urban areas?
Well, because of the monopoly rate structure or the service model that is used, there's always that tension between how much can I permit or what obligations can I impose on the operator, and how do I permit a recovery from the market. So let's say you have 1 million paying customers. That 1 million paying customers would have to give you the revenue to support an investment to bring into the market an additional 1 million customers. So someone is always paying for it. Yesterday, for example, we were speaking to a real estate developer who is putting in 400 houses. And the level of upgrade to the grid, the distribution grid in the community where he's putting in these houses, the level of upgrade has a certain capital cost. Who's going to pay for it? We saw where the custom is the developer pays the cash up front, and then over a period of time, as additional customers, paying customers, are brought on stream into JPS's customer base, JPS will then reimburse the developer. But somebody always has to bear the capital cost of growing the infrastructure so it can accommodate new paying business. If the developer didn't pay it, the alternative would be every consumer in that neighborhood, in that parish, or maybe the whole island of consumers would have to take on an additional cost to ensure that someone in another community many miles removed from you is able to have access to the grid. So the issue of access is a big one, both in terms of the cost it involves and who pays.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that
May I
particular
welcome my co-host
situation.
today?
What? I actually thought it was
I guessed.
Yes, I didn't realize.
Pastor
Good morning,
Percival,
Pastor Percy. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Be careful.
Oh, that's
you
Minette and Mrs.
entertain.
Lowell. Here say
Be careful, you might have entertained angels unaware.
And your point is?
It is
Are you suggesting you're an angel this morning?
Anything is possible.
I would not be unaware of that
Okay,
fact.
all right. So we'll call you Angel. You're a person who love to give names
to people.
Yes. So
when I
we'll
call you, say angel.
Person the angel.
Yes, it's called.
Oh wow! You see the date that I wrote? 2029.
Yeah. I saw somebody sent an invitation out inviting us to their birthday party.
Yeah.
And they put 2029.
Us being who? You mean the morning connection?
No.
Oh. You must be clear in our
in a
person.
group to have and she put 2029. So that's why it struck a chord for me.
Oh.
Good
Yes,
morning,
I
good
wrote
morning,
that
good morning, good morning. It is good to be alive. Wow, my Lord.
What do you have to compare it with?
Some of us probably went somewhere and was told, go back.
And they told the boy, Percy, not so good down here. So
Go back. You have things yet to do.
Yes.
Which is what has happened with JPS, because they still have things yet to do.
They have things to do. So you and I should have spoken about it. We didn't. Maybe I was saving it for Thursday.
The $3 billion it was.
They want to spend $3 billion to upgrade their infrastructure, and major concern is eliminating outages. I don't know if it happened in your area, but and the outage that we experienced, brief though it was so crude. I mean, the thing
Oh, it
kept
was
going
terrible.
on and off and on and off, and everything that was connected was lighting up and shutting down, and you know,
And that damages your equipment.
yes, because it seemed to me now that all of us need to seriously invest in surge protectors that can carry your whole house. I don't know if so. What is that called? A generator?
No.
Unfortunately, the generator will not protect you from that.
Yeah, no,
You
no,
have
it's
to
just that
be
everything.
content with
I mean,
individual pieces of
They
equipment.
have to carry their
Yeah.
own surge protectors.
wow.
Yeah.
Our
No, it
people
was
need to-
terrible. It was terrible.
Our
I
people
mean,
need to
it's-
design appliances now with a surge protection component.
Yeah.
So everything that is connected to any power supply needs to be able to give you some kind of push until you can run to it and disconnect it. It was terrible. And it was happening in the night. Were you affected?
Those times I was never learn. The time that you were reflecting on.
Oh, so having returned, you come and tell us how good it is to be alive this morning.
never learn.
Never learn.
But I do want us to, I think citizens, consumers need to understand why JPS wants to spend $3 billion and recognize what it means for us if we spend it and if we don't. It shouldn't be entirely up to the OUR. Something that affects national life and the productivity of the nation and the well-being of the nation so acutely shouldn't be just left in the hands of regulator or politics. There should be some.
There's nothing cute about it.
There should be some component of public consultation. Oh boy. Oh, you have to find it again for me, Lowell, please. I tried to
You
manipulate
mean with the
it.
JPS go?
Yeah, the story. You have it?
Now I recall the story. But even as we're in studio today, we can still give the question. Remember it?
Oh, yes. And Denise Bailey won at least another prize with the questions that we should have.
So we can go back.
Yeah, so we can do that. I really am trying to find. I believe that we should look at it and say a little bit more about what is happening with JPS and this $3 billion spend that they desire to make. So I'm on their website. Lowell found it online for me because I only keep the last 7 days edition of the paper.
Well, it's not on the front page. I'm just scrolling
Right.
through to see
Yeah.
exactly where it is.
I could log in. Anyway, so that's that. The other thing that was sort of hanging, and I want to pull it down, as they say. Pastor Percival and I, this issue of no legal standing for a son of the diaspora who was bold enough to ask a question. I had referred to a scripture which from time to time we've used it to speak to the diaspora and to reassure them of the special place they occupy in the plan of God and in the happenings of the nation, just to encourage them and to teach Jamaicans, those who are here at home, what it is that we can expect from our diaspora. So we don't abuse them, and also we give them the support that they need. I was looking at the time at the policy document being developed under the same Miss Kamina's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I thought it would be useful to just go back to see what it is that scripture says about the children of the diaspora. the scripture is from Ezekiel chapter 11. The specific verse is verse 16, but going on down to 18, 19, you'll see what it is that they will do. So 16 says, therefore say, thus says the Lord. This is the instruction now that so you are clear in your mind that these are the prophetic words given to Ezekiel for him to say to the children who are in exile. Thus says the Lord, although I have cast them afar off among the Gentiles, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet I shall be a little sanctuary for them in the countries where they have gone. So you living abroad know that your presence in a foreign country is not an accident. It has been set for you to be there, and while there, God himself will be a little sanctuary for you. I think that's why foreigners tend to get religion. Do foreigners get religion?
Get religion, what you mean?
Yeah. When you're away from your family, you get closer to God.
Oh, that's true.
He becomes your through prayer, you continue to be involved in family matters, praying for them and so on and so forth. Therefore, thus says the Lord God, I will gather you from the peoples. This is the promise. You out there saying, I just want to be here for a time, accumulate something, go back home. If you remain faithful to that hope and continue to cherish it, God says, I will gather you from the peoples, assemble you from the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. What does Israel represent in scripture again, Percy? I know Egypt represents the place of bondage.
Promised land.
Israel, the promised land. I will give you your promised land. And they will go there, and they will take away all its detestable things and all its abominations from there. So when you enter into your promised land, when you are restored to your place of abundance, your first job will be to purge it, to cleanse it, to make it habitable and holy and a desirable place for the presence of God. That is why someone like Mr. Rattigan is trying to bring transparency and honesty and some amount of truth into the affairs subject matter of his lawsuit. He's saying, you've set rules. These rules are for a noble ideal of bringing to public consciousness the knowledge of certain things so that you can maintain good governance. Good governance is a noble ideal, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So a son of the diaspora, see us down here, things going on. We either too afraid or don't know to ask. And he says, let me do my job. Reconnected to his place of abundance, he wants to take away something that is detestable and is an abomination. Then I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within them. So your one heart, typically, persons who live, you are living in a place of exile or you're an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart is with the country where you come from.
Always is.
And your heart is with the place where you are. So you end up with a divided heart. And either way, whether it is that your heart is divided in terms of even your own fidelity to your creator, because you may be trusting God to give you good success and a good life in your home country, but you end up have to leave it and go make life elsewhere. And you're saying God is not faithful.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart becomes divided. The heart can be divided in so many ways. But God promises to give you one heart. I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within them and take the stony heart out of their flesh and give them a heart of flesh, that they may walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. I've met one or two persons from the diaspora who actually become tearful when they speak about their desire to give back to Jamaica, their desire to see things prosper in Jamaica, to see change. And they come here every year, some of them, and they bring whatever they can, and they bring others to join in. Their heart have become so soft towards this nation The stony heart that some of us who live here, not the ones who live in Stony Hill, just punning. Some of us who are here, our hearts are so cold towards this nation. I mean, you know, we have no love, no feeling. Many times we get callers who are saying, do they love us, our leaders? Do they care for us? Because the heart of flesh is not yet there. But the children of the diaspora will be given that heart. When we come back from the break, because it's now 7 a.m., we can finish on this, because right in here, I see what the policy ought to be in how we engage with the diaspora and involve them in our affairs, because work has been set for them to do.
Wow.
And it's not for us to stand in the way or to discourage them or to disparage them when they are doing the work that has been ordained for them to do. This is not just children of the Jamaican diaspora, children in the diaspora everywhere. Your heart is going to draw you back to your place of origin. Let's take the break.
You're simply the best. You're simply the best.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
On this week's House Matters, Constitution reform process to be lengthy and complex, legal information web portal expected to be operationalized by April 2024, and Jamaica to host Haitian stakeholder meeting. I'm Jada Francis. Stay tuned. The 2023-24 sectoral debates continued in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, June 6, with the presentation of Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort. In addition to giving an update on the progress of the constitutional reform process, she discussed human rights and the digital transformation of the ministry. According to Minister Malahoo Fort, moving on from a constitutional monarchy form of government to a republic is complex and lengthy, requiring the altering of some deeply entrenched provisions of the Constitution and the fulfillment of specific provisions.
A bill effecting the alteration to be introduced in this House of Representatives. A period of at least 6 months to elapse between the introduction of the bill into the House and its passing by the House. The bill to be passed in each House is to be passed by the votes of not less than 2/3 of all the members of that House. And the bill has to be approved by a majority of the electorate.
In keeping with the ongoing digital transformation of the justice system, Mrs. Malahoo Fort also outlined that the previously announced legal information portal for the laws of Jamaica is expected to be operationalized by April 2024. The web portal is expected to inform visitors about issues of concern that should be considered in the development of law reform proposals and also provide public access to the revised laws of Jamaica from 19th century to present, as well as the annual acts of Jamaica also from the 17th century to the present.
No longer will extensive time and effort be expended to identify gazette notices and laws. The portal will also include judgment of the courts. Complements the broader efforts to modernize the Jamaican justice sector, institutions, and processes.
She shared that materials are currently being scanned and prepared for uploading to the website. Meanwhile, Minister Malahoo Fort highlighted that one of the strategic objectives of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs is to address the slow pace of legislative reform in the wider public sector by strengthening inter-ministry collaboration. She noted that the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, supported by the Legal Reform Department and the Office of the Parliamentary Council, will continue to provide technical guidance and support to the legislative teams in the ministries with a view to improving efficiency, coordination, and the quality of new and amended laws.
The aim is to improve operational efficiency, speed, and the quality of legislation promulgated. Teams have now been established, and my ministry is providing good guidance
to all ministries in the area of legislation.
Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort speaking in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness disclosed in the House of Representatives on Tuesday that Jamaica will be hosting Haitian stakeholder consultations in Kingston from June 11 to 13. These include representatives from Haiti, the Eminent Persons Group, which was established by CARICOM to oversee the community's provision of good offices to the government of Haiti and Haitian stakeholders, the Prime Ministers of the Bahamas and Haiti, the CARICOM Secretary General, and representatives from international partners and donor support.
Prime Minister Davis and I will officially hand over the process to the Eminent Persons Group at the opening event. However, I must underscore and emphasize that notwithstanding any representation from states regionally, the consultations themselves will only involve the Haitian stakeholders, supported by the Eminent Persons Group with their requisite technical personnel. The Eminent Persons Group will update CARICOM as appropriate and necessary.
Prime Minister Holness says he is hopeful that the consultation will play a significant step in the process of restoring stability in Haiti. That's it for this week's House Matters. Join us again next time for more on what's happening in the Houses of Parliament. I'm Jada Francis. Take care.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Half a tree, 100, 200, ready, mama. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Ready for the warfare, oh yeah. Ready for the warfare. Yeah, and the world, you want us back? We are back. The Breakthrough Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM, 100.1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Best 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to lick it. Ready for the warfare. Ready for the warfare.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Well, I see. How we do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters, auto, have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose your problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. You hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Try and call him, cause trust me.
Ah, what a relief.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. It is good to be with you. Seems like I have a frog in my throat, don't I?
Only one?
One or two frogs.
Oh.
Don't know what's happening here, but
It's your morning voice. It's your rainy morning voice.
oh boy, don't know about that.
It's sounding gravelly.
Yes, it is. But
That's the crooner's voice. That sing.
oh,
you know
mean
the
like the
Isaac
group-
Hayes.
right? Or
Only him I can think of.
there's his own one.
Isaac Hayes is an old one too.
Yeah.
There's
I
even
was in
an
a place,
older one.
I was in a place yesterday, and I was saying to people, exercise, rest, exercise, and drink Geritol. Some people chuckled, and then I looked and I says, "That one is too old." The one who chuckled, I said, "Oh, that one dates you."
Meaning they know what Geritol is.
Yeah, the young people don't know what Geritol is. Yeah, remember that famous act that you used to have?
Yeah.
Take Geritol.
Oh, as I see these are the questions. We have answers, from children of the diaspora and Denise.
Oh, they?
Daily. Mm-hmm.
Serious?
Yeah. I'm gonna notify JPS and then announce.
Wow.
Somewhere
so all of the answers?
between Earl and Taki and Denise, we have the 3 answers.
Okay.
Yeah. In no particular order of importance.
You'd have to
The
tell them.
questions, question 1, 2, and 3. Those are the ones for which the prizes are to be awarded. But we'll do it after 8.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting that you spoke about JPSCO and the diaspora and the impact that they have. We should be honest as Jamaicans in regards to how we treat with people from the diaspora. We notice even on our chat in the mornings that people from the diaspora are very interested, and even some of the time they have even more information about what's happening in Jamaica than we were here, because they are attuned to the different chats and podcasts and different things. 'Cause you know that the gentleman Rattigan has a podcast.
No, I did not.
Yes, he does.
Have you listened? I'll hunt it down.
Yeah, he does. And then there's another person. But as we continue to examine and put Jamaica in the mirror to ask us to reflect on what we're seeing in the mirror, the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm remembering scripture, it says, "Don't be like the man who goes into the mirror in James, he looks at himself, and then
And goes away
and
forgetting what he looks
what
like."
he has seen." And I think that is why we have a phenomena of 9-day wonders in Jamaica. Our leaders say to us, oh man, them get a five
Yes.
stamp for 9 days, and then after everybody will forget it.
As soon as we leave the mirror, we'll forget.
Yeah,
We'll
they
forget.
forget, but Jamaicans cannot forget. SSL is still in our sights in terms of how that's gonna play out. Because even as we reflect on what has happened, and yesterday I think it was Ionic. I think in terms
Oh,
of
iconic. The headline that
yes,
said iconic.
disturbance or whatever it is, and how it is gonna affect Jamaica. You see what they're thinking about?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Foreign investment. They're not thinking about the Jamaicans.
But you see, it's always but it's kind
PR.
of the same thing too with how we respond to the diaspora. We want them to send their money in remittance and in investment dollars, but outside of that, they must just shut up. So you want people to send their money to Jamaica, regardless of the risks that might be involved in our mismanagement of critical sectors like the financial sector. And there is mismanagement. Stop saying that all is well. Something stinks in the land of cheese.
Okay.
So let me finish. I found the JPS story. We'll talk about it a little bit and we'll return to it later. Perhaps because when a monopoly provider makes an extraordinary expenditure,
investment,
yes, the rates have to be affected because they have to recover it. And I think they are under a 17.5% rate of return. I think it's 17.5. Right. So JPS will spend US 18.25 million, which is 2.83 billion Jamaican dollars, on specific projects designed to improve the reliability of the electricity grid following a spike in outages. On average, the number of outages in 2022 equated to 10 every hour.
That's the
So every 6 minutes, somewhere, somebody in Jamaica lost their connection to
lost their power.
Yes. And this happens 10 times in every hour.
And they recognize
And
it's
this-
a problem. They could have said, oh,
Yeah. And this is up from 7.5 outages that prevailed in previous years. Now, there are some parts of Jamaica that you lose power only when there's a scheduled outage. It is as reliable as the rain in a country like this. Reliable as the sun. Plans for the project were included in the utilities application for an annual rate increase. If the new application is approved, it could result in a rise in electricity costs for some residential customers billed by 0.77%. That's not a lot, less than 1%. But a decline overall by 0.69% when all customer groups are factored, based on an upward movement in inflation and foreign exchange rates, but a downward movement in oil prices year on year. This is somebody who is not writing for the thing to be understood. This is just to say I squeeze everything in. The capital investment in reliability projects to be undertaken by JPS this year covers voltage standardization, and those who have the knowledge, we can explain what that is. Lowell, come on, keep your mic open. What is voltage standardization? It sounds simple, but let's just talk it up a little.
You're supposed to deliver to the homes between 110 and 120. But when you check it, if you were to put a
meter on it,
you notice it's
fluctuates
outside
widely.
of that range.
Yeah.
And that comes from how it's delivered into the home.
And it seems to be a hefty problem because the price tag on it, out of their 18 billion, the price tag on that one is 4.54 million US dollars. It is one of the highest spends that they have. The only thing higher than it is distribution structural integrity. The second item is grid modernization program. What would that involve?
Modernizing the
updating the grid.
Yeah.
Them are old things that are there from you know when. Yeah. Distribution structural integrity. That have a kind of a
Printed.
a normal, natural meaning that you can figure out. But
The integrity of the structures that are delivering the distribution.
these
like
are
the
your poles,
power lines and so on.
the poles, the power lines, the
Right.
distribution line reconditioning and relocation.
You see that all the time because some of the time they have to be moving poles with the new developments.
New highway, new housing developments.
Right.
Yeah. And transmission structural integrity. So the distribution is what goes into your home. Transmission is
What
the
comes from the power
apparatus that connects the power station to what goes into your home. Substation structural integrity.
I mean, I'm going to fix it. The substations, because those, and you notice when you're passing them, you said, do not come in here to an authorized person, because one of the things when it goes in there, it creates an electrostatic field that if you don't know what you're doing, just going in there, you can be electrocuted. That's why they said, do not go in there. Because they have to do things to disable it before they do the work.
You can just walk in.
Yeah.
Right. Outages totaled 91,000 in 2022. And this was up from 61,830 in 2021.
So they're telling you why they're speaking today.
Over 7 years, the average number of forced outages was 66,860. The spike last year was due in part to bad weather, but also teething pains from the introduction of a new outage management system, according to JPS Head of Communication, or dear Miss Winsome, who said it led to double counting of some outages. All right, so those were not real outages. That was just. So is it that when they took out the double counting, they still ended up at 91,000?
It would seem that way.
But the bit about bad weather, we have to take careful note of it, but because with all this talk about unseasonable weather or extreme weather conditions, as you know, the world gets old and shows its age, means more of that. Extreme weather conditions. And when that's happening, I mean, we were talking to a developer yesterday and he was saying that there's some work that JPS has to do, but while there's heavy rainfall and so on, it ain't going to happen. They're not going to put men on the line to do a certain level of work while the weather is bad. So you're just going to have to, there are some things that homeowners and communities need to contemplate now. If you're having a backup generator system, whatever, solar system, if rain or fall, not going to help you that much at all. Wind system, the renewables are not going to help you so much when you have weather systems causing outages. But a good generator that you might even be able to share with your neighbor. I tell you, community life is going to look very different. If we plan together, there are some things we can do. The tariff document officially outlined. Usually, the tariff document becomes a part of it is publicly accessible. I will check for you because those of you who have an interest can visit either the OUR's website, or if I were a GPS, I'd put it on my website too. I'm going to look for it so you can see what are the things which they are asking for and why. It's important that we keep an eye on it because it affects our productivity and it affects our bottom line. Because at the end of the day, any increased rate, you have to pay it, we have to pay it. And any inefficiency that continues in their system because they have been denied the opportunity to make these expenditures, we are the ones who are going to carry the cost of those inefficiencies with the many power outages, with the food that spoil, with the equipment that mash up, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You know, JPS says motor vehicle accidents have caused 5% of the outages.
Yeah, but
people tearing down parts of the...
Running at the pole, I saw an accident. It was in the paper. One earlier where you saw the police and you were asking, what is AIR?
Oh, yes,
earlier this week. I was accident investigation construction unit. And they need, and then as I said, because remember, somebody called in regards to Mr. The pastor that was a deputy commissioner, and
More.
Mr. Moore, and more questions are being asked now. Because if you look at it, like I saw something the
Being asked
observer
publicly?
I saw something the observer saying, hold on, what's happening there? And somebody was showing something online from one of the podcasts, I call it, the YouTubers who were saying, no, where they find this gentleman, it something is out of whack. That's why somebody called and said, let's do a proper investigation before we are saying it was an accident. And that's where the scientists come in. The pathologists would say to you, forensic, was the person dead? Before, how long was the person dead for? In terms of the accident investigation and reconstruction unit, you can look back and see if there were actually was an accident, But those are the things that is the science that we need to be using instead of we just talking like the caller and was making allegations. Do the investigation.
The forensic analysis.
Yeah. It is there. It's available.
Yeah. But there are some very gifted and anointed people who can, just by casual observation, discern some things which others have to spend years running experiments to find out.
Yeah, but
and it's
interesting. From revelation.
It comes from the revelation from the spirit world. All right. So the JPS application, their rate application is posted online. It's 100 pages, so brace yourself. If you have an interest in this area of public life, go online, download the document, begin to look through it, and begin to talk to those around you about the importance and necessity of having reliable power, of ensuring that these projects are encouraged and that they take place on time, on schedule, on budget, and tracking what the regulator is doing to ensure that there is delivery of quality service from the provider to the customers. A monopoly provider is not necessarily a detestable organization just by virtue of it being a monopoly. It can operate very well and very profitably for itself and the customer if we work in partnership, keep pressing them in areas where they need to be pressed, and bringing that efficiency factor up. All right. I'm not going to say any more on it because you are going to hunt it down yourself, and maybe we can have a chat on what it is that JPS requires and how the government can work with them in their policy focus to ensure that the customer gets the best result. So I can take that off my list.
But as you take that off your list,
yes,
I see it's back on our list.
It will never leave. Even when it is working in good order, our responsibility is to keep our eye on it so that it delivers.
Yesterday, we were trying to determine who was the mongoose and who was the keeper of the hen house. You told them the conclusion that we came to.
Oh, yes. But what's surprising is that I guess I did not estimate that the cleaner had such a view of itself.
Okay.
So the gleaner is the operator of the chicken coop.
Okay.
And the mongoose is Mr. Warmington, with whom the gleaner found itself in agreement on the issue of removing Pamela Monroe Ellis, the Auditor General, from the Integrity Commission's board.
But when you find yourself the keeper of the hen house,
when the keeper of the hen house
and
the mongoose are in agreement,
you have to act yourself. So they were reviewing your position.
So it was kind of weird because when you read mongoose hen house, the whole it was not adding up. But by the time I read the entirety of the
article,
the editorial, I realized that the gleaner is the operator of the hen house. But I know who is in the hen house that they operate. I mean, I was looking at it on a larger scale
A
because
bigger
in
scale.
reality, yeah, I don't see how the Gleaner is the operator of any hen house, but
Right, in the
they
context
say
of-
they are.
yeah.
In the context, they wrote it. The agreement was this really just an exercise in logical deduction. They say that there is an agreement between two forces. And when I looked at what the agreement was, it is that Gleaner had long been advocating for the Auditor General to
Not to be
be
there.
removed from the Integrity Commission's board on a point of conflict. They're saying she is generally
Auditing
overseeing everybody. How can she be on this board without there being a conflict? They conceded in the editorial that in the years they've been saying it, they've not seen, not one case has arisen that created a conflict or made their fear seem reasonable. On the other hand,
The mongoose.
a mongoose has now joined them in making the same objection. Now, how did Mr. Warmington become the mongoose in that equation?
Because
I'm
of
not
his
entirely
presentation.
sure.
No, he made a presentation.
I know, but what makes it a mongoose type presentation?
Because he was in agreement with what they were saying.
No, it would have to mean that it represents a threat to the chickens. Because mongoose is a threat to the chickens.
No, but the threat
So
to the
why
chickens
is he seen as a threat to the chickens?
Because remember, just follow the antecedents. They wanted to not to close the Integrity Commission hearings to the public.
Yeah, all of that I understand, but we've gone past. We are the serious threat to the chickens. It's 7:32. We'll take the break.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose your problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss. Ah, what a relief.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
The sun is Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, Beth FM 100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today, with me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Beth FM 100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get healthy.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. I invite you to join us for the Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ radio program with Elder Kendrick Murray, where we stand firm that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. This broadcast is heard every Saturday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. and again on Sundays from 4 to 5 p.m. The church is located at 3550 Pleasant Valley Road, here in Mobile, Alabama, in the United States. You may visit our website at sonofgodlives.org or our YouTube page at Minister K. Murray, or you may call us at area code 251-300-8812. God bless you, and we look forward to you tuning in to the program.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Go, Percy.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. It is now 36 minutes after 7 o'clock. So I was saying before we went on the break, the IC seems to be in everybody's crosshairs. The headline says Bunting exonerated.
They're not in his crosshairs.
Yeah.
So,
but then the government lashes Integrity Commission.
But no, deal with what has happened with Mr. Bunting, because this is a little odd how it reads. Opposition senator, this is Mr. Bunting. When he was in the role of Minister of National Security, he was responsible for the FLA. And when the FLA news broke with the scandalous behavior on some issues, they tried to draw in former administration and said Mr. Bunting had himself done various things. The Integrity Commission has exonerated Mr. Bunting in a report which they published. He had been accused of acting improperly in the issuing of firearm licenses, and the Integrity Commission has said not so. Mr. Bunting is now ready to sign the Code of Conduct promulgated by the Integrity Commission. He says his confidence in them has been restored. His confidence in the Integrity Commission has been restored after they ruled in his favor.
Okay.
Is that a petty? What does that say about? You're only.
But you understand why people are behaving, because he's there saying that his confidence is restored because they rule in his favor. There are other persons who are griping against the Integrity Commission because the Integrity Commission are not speaking favorably to them. You see?
So it's all personal now.
Exactly. And and that is why they know, which is what was reported, that they now want to have their own Integrity Commission.
Well, no, they want to establish their own standard of integrity.
Well, that is having their own Integrity Commission. Whichever way you put it, that they want to dictate what happens in the Integrity Commission.
Yes.
No, that's rather interesting.
Remember when I was in Parliament, I make it personal. And I said that there is this tendency of weaponizing the Integrity Commission. One side wants to use it, and everybody, they swarmed me. Now it's coming out. That is
both sides of the aisle. Oh yeah,
what
they were
each side wants to do.
Yes, how dare you say such a thing?
Yeah, but
then we know the kind of politics that we practice in this country.
So now the truth is coming out. The truth is coming out.
Yeah, because that is why somebody has lambasted me on this program. Why the pastor always revert back to Bible? Because it is a good code of conduct for me.
Yes.
With wonderful principles that have stood the test of time in terms of saying how you must live your life and how you must exercise your duty as somebody who believes in him. And you see, you know what is happening to us? And I guess people are seeing it for what it is. There must be truth that is absolute. There are some things, truth that is absolute, that doesn't change based on the circumstances.
What do you mean by that, though? When you say the truth is absolute? Because the truth is the truth. That's it.
Yeah, but some people say the truth is relative.
No.
I see what he's saying. He's taking relativism out of the equation.
Yeah.
No,
Truth is not as you see
the
it.
truth is the truth.
The truth
It's
is.
pure.
The truth is.
That's
right,
it.
Right.
Truth is.
So I'm just saying, in regards to that. So there must be some standard that is external, that is not dependent on how much I like you.
Yeah. So, for example, you know, one of the principles of good governance in the code of conduct
Yes.
is objectivity.
Yes.
Standards are not based on your personal moral code. And I'm emphasizing that one because for a senator to say that he can now sign the code because the Integrity Commission has exonerated him, it's suggesting that the integrity and the quality of the code was somehow connected to their position concerning his behavior. When the principles that are in the code are easily understood whether or not they said bunting is good or bad. It stands by itself. And it's the point that the two of you are making, that if the code is a good code, it remains a good code, whether the Integrity Commission found him guilty or exonerated him. Yet, he connected them. And we are looking for persons of integrity who can stand by something even on the day that it hurts them.
Well, the same man called us criminals, and I never forget it. That same man.
Yes,
So,
organized, not just
organized
criminals.
crime. Well, yeah, man. And yeah, not that we're just, correct.
Yeah.
Same man.
Yeah. But you see, where my integrity stands now, I can speak of his conduct fairly and with honesty, whether he retracts that comment or he stands by it. So I'm looking at his behavior in this situation and I'm saying, you did not even respect your leader of opposition enough to say, he's signing the code, I'm signing the code. Because signing the code was not just a matter of conscience. It's also a very public way of taking a stand and communicating to the people that you want to serve where you sit on some of these. And I know he's taking a stand and showing where he sits, but bear with me. If my leader looks at the code, and on top of it, too, his leader is a lawyer, he looks at the code and he says, I can put my signature to this. In fact, if they were my shadow cabinet and I've looked at the code and I see where it is right and fitting for me to sign it, any person who can sign that code not going to be in my shadow cabinet because you are telling me that I have entrusted you with responsibilities without your being sure what standards apply. If me as your leader, if I as your leader can sign it, so should you. This is not one of those issues where you can hide behind your conscience, because any conscience that cannot embrace those principles of good governance is not one that should be serving alongside me. That's how I would view it. How do you feel, you other two men? As a leader of a
I'm in
team.
full agreement with you on that.
How about you, Percy? Leader of a team.
I'm in full agreement with you on
but
that.
but for me,
yes,
and it has happened to me in other things that with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me to do something as a leader and I'm saying, boy, I'm not in agreement, I step aside.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to ask you to quit, is what you're
Step
saying.
aside.
So does that mean you're in agreement with us, but you even tougher than...
Yeah, I just tried to understand how you approach the saying you're saying agreement.
No, no, your statement was the leaders put something. He has signed it. I've looked at it and I say, no, boss, on a personal note, you have signed it, but I don't feel that I can sign this in good conscience. So without we getting into why not, I will just step aside so somebody else can serve. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So he wouldn't have to ask you to quit. Right.
Yesterday you read, what was it, 7 points?
The 7, yes.
Codes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The 7 principles. The 7 principles
that underpins the
of
code
public,
itself.
yeah.
No, you want to tell me.
Which one of those?
It would be good to go back through that and tell me which
find
one
it
of
for you.
those principles is
Could-
unfair.
Could anyone
or
say,
unjust.
boy, I'm not in agreement with that, I can't serve under
Anybody
those.
who goes
There it is.
against that, no, I'm very suspicious of you and your motives.
Lowell, it's because I read over the principles yesterday why I'm saying, what if I as a leader sign it? And my people are telling me that, well, me can't sign it because me not trust them. I don't trust the people who wrote it because they still have me under investigation and I'm not. If you tell me that, you're telling me you're petty.
Yeah, well, we know that. So that's not
So the first principle is selflessness. Holders of public office should take decisions solely in terms of the public interest. So, for example, Mr. Bunting should have been thinking, what is it I'm saying to the public when I withhold my signature or give my signature? As a public office official, that is the motivating factor. You must be selfless.
So,
that's one.
That's one.
First
So
you want to ask something about it.
no, with that. So just that we are clear,
Mhm.
he has said he didn't sign the code of conduct previously
Mhm.
because of the case that was pending.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you don't want to appear to be sanctioning or accepting anything that come out of the Integrity Commission because they have him under investigation. But now that they've cleared him, he can sign because they're obviously good people.
So you have to be clear. Yeah. So I just wanted to.
So that's not
clear-
selfless.
No. Yeah.
That's
So
not
clear.
selfless. That's
Once you're not
taking a
You would
decision.
not sign the leadership code.
Mhm.
As a mark of protest
You said that's
against-
not selfless, minute?
Mhm. What he did, his action in withholding his signature whilst under investigation by the Integrity Commission is selfish.
Of course
It's not selfless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's selfish.
I just
Making
make
sure.
Yes.
The second principle is integrity. Holders of public office should not place themselves under any financial or other obligation to outside individuals or organizations that might influence them in the performance of their official duties.
Which is what?
So-
which is the question of no standing.
Aha. Mr. Ratigan, who filed his action, is saying, you as a public official, persons contributed money to handle your campaign for a job. You did not make disclosure of those contributions as required by the law, and he's asking the court
Right, and that's
to answer a question. Was it required as a matter of law? Was it done?
Yeah, and that I think was the key point there, because remember the caper started and I said, who financing it? And then we saw things dribbling out.
Yeah, man. You hear it's the Prime Minister's office, you hear it's the Minister of Foreign Affairs, you hear it's personal, and then it shouldn't happen like that with the hen house in an uproar.
Yes.
And
Over
this
what's
is the
in
same
the-
organization that Minister Malahoo Fort came against to say that they are. Is it? I'm
Which one?
just trying
the
to
Integrity
recall.
Commission. Yes,
the
yes,
same
yes.
one.
That they're shaming
And she's one of
government.
them who don't sign it.
And she not sign.
No, I ask a question. The fact that you don't sign it, what does that say about you?
It means
Think
you
about
don't plan to abide by the
Think
certain
about it.
principles. That's what it means.
Because that's what we said.
You don't plan to
Think
be
about
bound
it.
by
And
those
I'd love to hear the reason why those people refuse to sign it.
Them say them never sit, so they can't sign where they not sit. That's what the man said.
Which man?
That's what Morgan was saying.
No, that's Morgan. And
That's
you can dismiss him totally.
That is
given what he
terrible.
has said.
No,
That's a terrible cop-out.
Come on.
In terms of Lash, listen to what they said. Turning to the leadership code of conduct, Chuck said that no member on the government side had seen the document.
Convenient blindness, temporary blindness.
Oh, they didn't see the document. So
That's right. So
they
that's why
couldn't
they
sign what they didn't
The
see.
code was sent by the commission to the office of the Prime Minister in November 2022 by the head of government to sign the document on behalf of his cabinet minister. According to the
Well, we
commission,
know that they have a problem of seeing things because the
Remember
finance
the
minister can't see
SFL,
either.
Yes,
So
yes.
it seems that we have a government of blind people.
A spirit of blindness that strikes
Yes.
them at convenient times
Because
or
they are
inconvenient
farsighted. If
times.
it's near to them, they can't see it.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
though.
that's just like a real childish.
Listen,
that's
man,
like the
they're
dog ate
childish,
my
yes.
homework.
And that is why the country is where it is.
You mean like you take up your ball and
God
go
home. Percy, you've never heard that phrase, "the dog ate my homework"?
Of course.
Oh,
I never made
I haven't seen it. I can't sign what I haven't seen.
I didn't bring my homework because the dog ate it.
Dog ate my homework. That's right up there with the dog eating your homework. So under integrity, it says, do not be beholden to third parties who might influence you in the performance of your official duties. So they say, avoid nepotism. We all know what that is. Do not hire anybody whose name is Nepot. Avoid nepotism. Connected family members, clientelism, cronyism, and similar acts which can bring your office or agency into disrepute. Decisions should be in keeping with all rules, regulations, and exhibit objectivity, insofar as it's humanly possible, of course. Then the third one is objectivity, which is what we're talking about now. In carrying out public business, including making public appointments, awarding contracts, or recommending individuals for rewards and benefits, holders of public office should make choices on merit. Decisions should be non-partisan, informed by facts, and on the merits of each circumstance. Appointments to serve on public boards should be based on the suitability of officers, their competence, and experience. And it cannot be coincidental that the only good people to do things come out of your party, come out of your junior ranking, it cannot be. That in the whole nation of Jamaica, you can only find good people to serve on the associations and in the families and in the groups that you frequent.
I would like the opportunity to ask each of the person who did not sign or have not signed it to tell me which one of those points you have a challenge with.
Yes.
Just tell me. It's okay. You say not sign. Just tell me which one of them don't sit too well with you.
And I think, Lowell, that's the big problem that that people have. You haven't signed it, but you haven't said why. And the only thing you're saying why in this belated hour is, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but it's out in the public domain. It's on the if no. And
Percy,
I pulled this from this is either the Prime Minister's
you can't
or
tell
the
me that I see you,
Integrity
you know.
Commission.
You can't tell me that I see you. Can you? Can you tell me that I see you right now, even as I sit across from you looking in your direction? All right, that answers it. So you see, our people are very creative. Very creative.
The fourth principle is accountability. Holders of public office are accountable for their decisions and actions to the public and must submit themselves to whatever scrutiny is appropriate to their office. All decisions are open to scrutiny, and the responsibilities owed to the public should we be called to account. You can't do like what Mr. Warmington like to do. Tell people if they protest, they not get nothing. That's why I think that's why he got the Mongoose Award.
Yeah. Are you giving awards now?
Not me. The Gleaner said they're the hen house operator and he's the Mongoose. Decisions and actions should be informed, considered, and taken with the greatest care, avoiding expedience. And, political expedience, like look at some of the issues that happened with that $400 million spend on accommodation that the Ministry of Health has been taken to task on.
By the Auditor General. And
yes. Expedience is that's where they've hung their hat. It was COVID. We just never had time to make proper contracts. So we were just, stacking them up.
And a purchase order is not a contract.
Yeah. So avoid expedience. Just take the time and do the thing properly so that an accounting trail can be scrutinized.
And you know that even in government, I know in emergencies, there are ways that they can use to get those things done. But
of course.
Still a procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And in red, they put, if the slightest doubt arises as to whether a decision is in the best interest of the public, or if same is perceived to be biased, then greater caution must be exercised. So the more urgent the situation, the more careful you need to be, because you know that under the pressure of time and whatever stress there might be, you will make a mistake. So that's the time when you exercise the greatest caution, accountability. Number 5 is openness. Holders of public office should be as open as possible about all the decisions and actions that they take. They should give reasons for their decisions and restrict information only when the wider public interest clearly so demands. I've taken the Integrity Commission to task on this one because they send you letters that say, oh, they will investigate it. The act says they can tell you or not tell you. It's as if they are privileged to operate under a shroud of secrecy as regards their investigations. Openness, them a public officer too. So this applies across the board. I wonder
Of course
if
it does.
I wonder if the commissioners of the Integrity Commission have signed this.
Well, they
Because
should.
they're public officials too. They should all
public
sign
officials should sign it. Every
Yes.
single one.
it. You must give reasons for your decisions. You know, Percy, this is requiring us to step up our understanding of public trust. When
opportunity.
when you sit in a public office, everything you do is based on the trust which the public has reposed in you to carry out this function on our behalf in a certain way. It's not your personal decision. The goods and services that you distribute or you administer are not yours, is not your inheritance, is not where you can leave to your children. When you step away from that job, there's nothing more for you except a pension if you're fortunate enough to have a good one. So, you know, most of the officials who were charged in the British Virgin Islands after the whole corruption findings against them and the imprisonment or the arrest of their premier led to the British government stepping back in as parent. Most of the charges were abuse of public trust, breach of public trust.
Yeah,
because the public is trusting you
to do what is right.
To do what is right on our behalf. Openness is how you get an opportunity. If decisions are not recorded, if decisions are taken only by somebody in a dark room that you're not even sure who, it's not open. When decisions were taken against Carousel, to this day, you kept hearing about what is it again? National interest? Security, national security issues who kept being floated across the screen so that you were being punished in your own country, but you never could get the truth of it. And every system was being manipulated to do you harm. It was not open. Openness is a critical one. That's number 5, and it's the number of grace. Number 5. Number 6 is honesty. You do that one, Percy. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Honesty is the best policy. If you speak the truth, you have to remember what you said. Holders of public office have a duty to declare any private interest relating to their public duties and take steps to resolve any conflicts arising in a way that protects the public interest. Just upfront, this is where I'm at. I may have some interest. Speak about it. So if there's going to be a conflict, like I've seen in a recent case where Justice Batts has just reclused himself from an hearing himself. And I wonder, why do judges do that? They recluse themselves because they feel there might be a conflict of interest?
And they, many times, even though they know they have the capability to be objective and unbiased, the perception
is more, yeah.
They don't want whatever result comes to be questioned by a person saying, I mean, look at what was happening. I think it was Enlightened who called me and said, how come the NCB lady who was flossing, how come there's an order for her assets to be charged with the money that was stolen? And when I had my situation with the car dealer who I couldn't get the benefit of such a protection, I was being told to go and file my civil claim. Is there some? And it was important for me, even from me, where I sit, to follow up the issue, so to reassure him or to confirm what the truth of the situation is, because citizens who are damaged in their thinking about their nation when these things happen, when you call on them for support or when somebody needs them to support, you can't find them because they you know,
honesty has not been upfront.
They think they're in a part of a dishonest system. This is a critical one because This is where the declarations that public officials make comes in. When you file your statutory declaration saying this is what obtains in my affairs, you must be prepared, if called upon, to resolve what is revealed to be a conflict. You may not even, maybe when you did it, you never anticipated being in public life. And now that you're in public life and you file your honest report, the Integrity Commission has to conduct a meeting with you and say, listen, I see you're a member of this company, you have so many shares, but this company is doing business in the very area of your ministry. Or, this is whatever the situation might be. You need to create a blind trust. You need to, whatever it is that you need to do. And you need to keep records to the extent that should any citizen come with a complaint about this or that, you can demonstrate with some transparent process that you did not compromise yourself.
So it's out in the public.
Yeah. So this is not about the willingness to resolve conflicts. Is not about you being punished because your affairs say something. A lot of times I think we make judgments about condemnation that we will endure, and it pulls us away from being honest. A question is asked of you, you begin to worry about whether the answer you give is going to get you into trouble or not. We got to step away from that. I watch, mostly you see it with children. You ask your child a question and you see them busy calculating
which one they must say.
What version of the truth should I give today?
Man.
Depending on
you're trying to.
We're saying be honest.
We're at the break.
And we only have one more. When we come back, I guess we can.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. A man with a knife has attacked nursery school children in the French town of Annecy. 4 are in hospital, 2 are in a critical condition. The police have described the alleged attacker as a Syrian man with refugee status in Sweden. Hugh Schofield has the latest.
In a playground by the lake in Annecy, the children, all under 3 years of age, were on a morning outing with their minders when a man wielding a knife suddenly appeared and began to stab them, some of them in their pushchairs. He ran from the scene and then attacked an elderly man who was walking nearby before being overpowered by a police patrol. Phone images taken by witnesses show a bearded man in black knee-length shorts and top wearing a bandana and sunglasses. President Macron said it was an act of absolute cowardice and that the nation was in a state of shock.
President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has gone to the Kherson region to see the scale of the chaos unleashed by the destruction of a dam on Tuesday. He praised efforts by rescue teams to help thousands of people whose homes have been submerged. The regional governor says an area 10 times the size of Manhattan is now underwater. Here's Paul Moss.
People remain trapped in buildings, others have been forced onto their roofs, and now it seems some residents of the Kherson region haven't been able to escape as the floodwaters rise. The Russian-installed administration said 5 had died as a result of what it called the Kakhovka disaster, while 41 others were in hospital. This corroborates the claim made by Ukraine that 2/3 of the flooded land is in the area which Russia occupies. President Zelensky, meanwhile, has criticized both the United Nations and Red Cross for failing to send any teams to help with the rescue.
Russia is expected to reply today at the International Criminal Court of Justice to Ukrainian claims that it's violated a UN treaty. Moscow's been accused of supporting pro-Russian separatists who were blamed for shooting down a passenger plane over eastern Ukraine 9 years ago. There's been an explosion at a mosque in Afghanistan's northern Badakhshan province, where funeral prayers were being held for a senior Taliban official who was killed by a car bomb earlier this week. Reports say many people died in the blast. Our South Asia regional editor Anbarasan Etirajan reports.
A regional Taliban official said the blast in the provincial capital Faizabad had caused casualties. Dozens of people, including senior Taliban figures, had gathered for the funeral prayers for the deputy governor of the Badakhshan province, Maulvi Nisar Ahmed Ahmadi. The target of today's explosion appeared to be Safiullah Samim, a senior commander and a former chief of police in the province of Baghlan. One local official said Mr. Samim had been killed in the explosion. There has been no confirmation yet from Kabul.
World News from the BBC. A Chinese rights lawyer has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. Chang Wei-ping was charged with subverting state power after publicly saying he'd been tortured during an earlier detention. Mr. Chang is the latest person to be imprisoned after taking part in a meeting of high-profile activists in the Chinese city of Xiamen 4 years ago. The South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has described the intense global competition in the semiconductor industry as an all-out war. He's promised to help maintain South Korea's leading role in the production of computer chips. Competition in the industry is being fueled by rivalry between China and the United States. Saudi Arabia and the United States have urged Western countries to repatriate their citizens who joined the Islamic State group. Thousands of militants and their family members are still being held in Syria and Iraq, where IS seized large parts of territory nearly a decade ago. Addressing a meeting in Riyadh, the Saudi foreign minister accused wealthy countries of shirking their responsibilities. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, also spoke on the subject.
Repatriation is critical to reducing the populations of both displaced persons camps like Al-Hol and detention center, holding nearly 10,000 ISIS fighters, 2,000 of whom are from countries other than Syria and Iraq. Failure to repatriate foreign terrorist fighters risks the possibility that they could again take up arms and attempt to restore ISIS's so-called caliphate.
Thick smoke from intense wildfires in Canada is continuing to blanket much of the east of North America. Much of the smoke is coming from Quebec, where hundreds of fires are currently burning. In New York, the Broadway show Hamilton was cancelled on Wednesday due to poor air quality. New York is to distribute free masks. Canada has said that people should wear a mask if they are unable to remain indoors. That's the latest. BBC News.
The sun is Get healthy, my friends. Stay balanced. Tune into this station, Best FM 100, every Saturday morning, 8 o'clock to 9, for this wonderful program, Your Health Today, with me, Dr. Clarion Palmer. Yes, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. Stay balanced. Best FM 100, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, with me, Dr. P. Get healthy.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
Ready for the warfare, oh yeah. Ready for the
Yes, and the world, you want us back? We are back. The True Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM, 100.1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Come on out. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Best 100 FM, Best 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to lick it till it bust.
Oh, yeah. Ready for the warfare. Ready for the warfare.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Fearless and love. Touch you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live It Up Fridays on Best 100 FM, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday, giving you the better vibes heard everywhere.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Welcome back. Okay, we have been speaking about the 7 principles of public life as it relates to the Integrity Commission. And Minette has taken us through 5. Percy took us through point 6. And I'm now looking at point 7, which says leadership. Holders of public office should promote and support these principles by leadership and example. And that is demonstrating the willingness and wherewithal to take decisive actions in the public interest and correcting breakdowns in the system and processes if and when they arise. Now, this is fairly simple and straightforward. And I don't see that there's anybody alive who would have an issue with this one. Because if you're a leader, then clearly this is what leaders do. And, you know, I don't see any issue with this one. If we were to ask persons of the 7, which ones you have an issue
Which one challenge you?
Exactly. And as a leader, clearly, if you're a leader, you must be doing this. Yeah?
Decisive actions. Leaders take decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even in your own life, because there's a growing thing now, those who do coaching, personal coaching, of encouraging persons to take leadership of their own life. You know, you can sit in the back seat of your own life instead of in the driver's seat.
Watch your life go by.
And let other people, let you just flow with whatever decisions somebody else make. You're a husband, you let the wife do all the thing. You're a wife, you just can't move unless your husband says. You're a student, it depends on what teacher says. You don't occupy the driver's seat of your life.
Called to be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, there you go.
Leaders can't be reactive. They have to be proactive. They have to see the things. It goes back
Anticipate,
to vision,
plan.
the vision of what it is.
Yeah.
A mental picture of what it is you want and begin to implement. But boy, And we do it, those declarations that we've been calling out over the nation.
Or Wednesday morning declarations.
Yeah, because we've been saying the whole thing of cynical, what?
The cynical and unbelieving individuals who think that there's no God, he's not watching, there's no balance. I can do as I feel like. I am not accountable.
I'm not called accountable because all of these things, these principles come out of an expectation from God, how you was delegated the authority to you, how you must lead, honesty, integrity, accountability, leadership, those seven openness,
objectivity.
Yeah, you have to do that if you're really going to lead on his behalf. And even as somebody called and pointed out what Romans 13:1 says about leadership, that people need to be responsive and honor government and so on, because it's God who has put them there. But with the responsibility that they have, they now have to respond in a way that brings honor back to God. But a lot of our leaders don't even recognize that.
No, they're cynical and unbelieving.
Yeah, so they don't.
Yeah,
they just do what they
think
want.
that they're making their own story as they go along.
Yeah, and so that is what it is. So yesterday, as we prayed and we made those declarations, the standard of God's word.
Percy, you say it, and there are many times I feel it too. And if someone else has an opinion on it, it would be good to hear. But I really do feel as if we are having an impact with those declarations. The scripture tells you, if you believe, you will see.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we believe, perhaps we are seeing. But it looks like things are really opening up in the way that we know it should when you begin to put things in the atmosphere.
Speak it.
And yeah.
Went to the courts. We went into the courts and we got it, and them said, okay, now I give you the authority to speak it, and begin to see that the angels and all of the force of heaven is behind you. I overheard your conversation about prayer yesterday. People, don't pray so much. I pray a lot because I need instructions. I need the bucketive. When I'm praying, I go and hear what God's saying, and I begin to move and to do. And that has guided my life. I know it has guided your life, even me in a greater dimension in terms of some of the things I have done. If I never knew that it was God's will to do it, I would never have done it.
It would be good to find an individual who, because they don't pray, things are hunky-dory and everything is fine. I'd love that person to come forward and give us that example.
So we could pray for them.
Well,
we need to open the lines.
Yes.
Before we open the lines, I want to address what you were showing to me earlier. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that a justice minister, Delroy Chuck, yesterday declared that Jamaica's single anti-corruption body has no integrity. It's right up there with the Integrity Commission saying that they are prepared to rebut the lies that could come out, the misleading information that could come out of the parliamentary committee. And I mean, I was just floored by trying to put the thing. I'm like, the parliament highest and the Integrity Commission is saying, I'm expecting lies to come out and I'm going to answer them, no holds barred. And then following that, the Minister of Justice.
But don't forget, he was the one who wanted all the things that happened in the past to be locked away and hidden.
Yes.
And you can't revisit them.
But to come out and say, I think, if you who are so highly placed in government and have access, you are the Justice Minister. If you can be standing up and declaring that the Integrity Commission has no integrity, what you expect the man down the street at the bottom of the ladder who is waiting to take his cue from what happens amongst those who are in the know? What do you expect him to say about anything?
I have a view about the people who speak, Look at them. Look at where they are in life. Some persons are really in the departure lounge. And the young people need to hold them accountable. I'm telling you. Because when they go, what are they leaving for others to inherit? So young people need to look at this and understand and hold the older people accountable. Yes, because you're the ones who are going to inherit it. So these people can always make any statement. Tomorrow they decide that, okay, I retire or whatever the case may be. What kind of legacy are they leaving?
Or they simply don't wake up.
There you go.
But you remember the armchair technique.
Take that back, Mr. Justice Delroy Chuck. You should take that back.
That's irresponsible.
Take that back.
Irresponsible.
But remember that
and it's reported, this is the front page. You see what we're talking about, the front page? This is reported on the front page of the premier local paper that the Justice Minister has declared no integrity, he says, of the Integrity Commission. Now, when we were in Parliament, again, for the subcommittee, we spoke about the independence of the Integrity Commission. Shall we look now to see when the chairman going to get fired, which commissioner is going to be removed? Because the commission is a commission of Parliament. Parliament give them life, Parliament take away life. Let us see how briskly they are going to move. We already saw the political ombudsman toast history consumed by the Electoral Office of Jamaica. What else did we see disappear?
That one, and some other things shift to another place.
The Contractor General, consumed by the Integrity Commission. So let us see.
No, but
that's Mr. Justice Chuck. We're all about free speech, but what you said, way too free.
But remember strategy: deny, distract, destroy.
So they're lining it up for destruction.
Yes.
The commission has demonstrated a certain bias, a certain unfairness, which demonstrates that this Integrity Commission lacks integrity, he declared. He made the remarks yesterday while commenting on a motion of adjournment moved by a member of Parliament of St. Mary Western, Robert Montague. The motion of adjournment spoke to an addendum that was sent to Parliament by the Integrity Commission to address concerns previously raised by opposition Senator Peter Bunting. Montague lashed the Integrity Commission, accusing it of being biased after the anti-corruption body exonerated Bunting, who was a former Minister of National Security, in its addendum following its March 2022 damning report on his stewardship as minister. The St. Mary Western MP, now a backbencher, who also was a former Minister of National Security yesterday, ripped into the commission, charging that it had ignored his protestations that he did not act improperly in the whole affair. You see how petty and lacking in objectivity this whole thing is? Those very principles that the Integrity Commission is saying to them, please, sign up to this so we can move forward with some semblance of order. Bunting, Montague, both sat in the same chair at a different point in time, did some things that look very similar. Bunting says his lawyer did a line-by-line refutation with some evidence and arguments as to why his conduct ought not to have earned their condemnation. I don't know if Mr. Montague did the same, but Mr. Montague is saying it's unfair that you listen to Mr. Bunting and you change your position, but you didn't listen to me.
But did he put something in writing?
We don't know. That's what Mr. Bunting says. That's what he should have done.
6-page statement within 100 minutes. So when he saw it, he wrote his statement to Parliament.
Oh, my goodness.
I just say to these people, straighten up and fly right.
So you see now for the Integrity Commission, who is no choir boy in this whole debacle, we have said to them, the law says before they publish something adverse to someone, they should disclose. That is how Mr. Hales was able to keep a report from being tabled for whatever, 5 years or whatever. Once he knew what was in it, he got an injunction. Eventually had to let it go. But if you have processes that are transparent and open and people follow them, you don't end up, or you ought not to end up in this type of cascade. So the Integrity Commission itself is not faultless in what you're seeing, but we have been making the declarations and calling it out, and the princes are showing themselves, and who knows. Although they say when elephants fight, something suffers, not the elephant. And we are the ones who will suffer, but in our suffering, we must seek to make the corrections and do the things that are necessary to bring us back in harmony. Can I leave this and you say open the lines?
No, man, you can open the lines
Yeah.
now.
All right. Let's open the lines.
8:24. I mean, not much.
Oh,
can
no,
happen
that's true.
between Then, so
Do we want to say anything about
after the 8:30
after
break?
we'll
Open the
we'll
lines.
open the line. All right. So let's see what member of parliament was saying here. Montague wrote a 6-page statement in 100 minutes. Why is it necessary to give that detail? Integrity Commission says the report was sent to Gordon House, the seat of Jamaica's parliament, on May 30th at 10:36 a.m. and collected by a member of the parliamentary staff. 7 minutes into the sitting of the lower house on May 30th and again on May 31st. Okay, so it was not tabled on May 30th or on the 31st. It was tabled yesterday. I think what the Integrity Commission is trying to say is that they submitted it and there was enough time for anyone who wanted to do whatever to have done it. 100 minutes after the report was tabled, Montague rose on the motion of adjournment and read from a 6-page prepared text addressing the contents of the addendum. Montague told Radio Jamaica's Beyond the Headlines host, Deion Jackson Miller, yesterday that he received the report after its tabling and prepared the 6-page response. I think all of this is to suggest that maybe it's not true, that he saw it before because it was delivered to Gordon House from the 30th. I think this saying 6 pages were written in 100 minutes. I mean, it's entirely possible. This exam season and students are writing a lot in less than 100 minutes. So, I don't know. This headline is seeming to cast doubt that all that effort was expended by the honorable member of the House in the time between the tabling of the addendum and his standing to request an adjournment. The standing orders or the rules of the lower house state that any member may, after public business has been entered upon, rise in his place and ask leave to move the adjournment of the House for the purpose of discussing a definite matter of urgent national importance. And they put those in quotes because Mr. Montague's feelings about the matter is of urgent national importance. However, the standing orders stipulate that a member who wishes to ask leave to move the adjournment of the House shall, before the commencement of the sitting, hand to the Speaker a written notification of the matter which he wishes to discuss. If this provision in the standing order is to be properly observed, a member would have had to hand to the Speaker a written notification of the matter which he wishes to discuss, not during the sitting, but before the commencement of the sitting. We needed to know that. Under the Integrity Commission Act, until the tabling in Parliament of a report under Section 36, all matters under investigation shall be kept confidential, and no report or public statement shall be made by the Commission or any other person in relation to the initiation or conduct of an investigation under this Act. So it's a kind of a tricky situation where they're caught in the nitty-gritty of their own maneuverings. They want secrecy because they don't want the public to know that they're under investigation. But when the report comes to Parliament, if there is something in it that is objectionable, they can't really take a decision on it until it is tabled.
But
so he's not supposed to see it until it is tabled.
It's tabled.
So it's tabled, and he finds that Bunting has been exonerated, but he continues under condemnation, and he wants to adjourn an adjournment. And of course, it's all out in the open. We love openness.
But even as we move to
the 8:30 break,
and we open the lines.
Yes, we're gonna allow some chatter
Open the lines
on Thursday. At least I know one person who will be happy.
Yeah, but
who you think will be happy that we're opening the lines on a Thursday? See if we're voting for the same person. All right, you can tell me after the break. When we come back, though, we are going to, or may I just, we were going to repeat the questions
so people can
and just let you know that we do have answers.
But
We have answers already.
GPS 100?
Yeah.
100 questions.
Yeah, we have the answers already. sent by text message.
Okay.
Yes, so we can actually, we don't want a steward's inquiry. The 3 questions were, when did the tram car service end? This is the tram car service operated by JPS. And there's someone has sent in an answer. We're going to announce when next JPS is on air with us. The second question was, which power plant is a floating barge? The name of it. That's also been answered. The third question is, what is the name of the network for charging electrical vehicles, which is being built right now by JPS? 3 questions, each attracting an energy voucher of $10,000. So we have winners. We'll announce the winners on another occasion. Let's take our break, 8:30.
Ready for the warfare, oh yeah. Ready for the
Jamaica and the world, you want us back? We are back. The Breakthrough Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM, 100.1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Best 100 FM, Best 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to lick it.
oh yeah. Ready for the warfare, ready for the warfare.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us on 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
Fearless and love more. Don't you open up the door.
Live, camera, volume. Live it up Fridays on Best 100 FM. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with I, Ibi Lion, each and every Friday, giving you the better vibes heard everywhere.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
on Best 100. It's good. It's better. But nothing beats. Best.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. The lines are now open for you to call in. 619-1508 and 279-8473.
Why are you speaking so softly?
Invite you to call in and tell us your views on what is happening in your neck of the woods. We give thanks for the rain, which continue to fall. But look like it's raining somewhere else on the Integrity Commission.
Rain is a blessing.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. I was calling, but then Pastor was still talking, and then I missed what he said.
No, man, go ahead.
That sounds like Miss Denise.
Yes, it is Miss Denise. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes,
Go ahead, Denise.
we're hearing you. There's some kind of feedback. I don't know if it's something you're doing.
I am not sure, but let me change position.
Is your radio
on?
on?
You had asked us to weigh in on, but prior to that, I had two questions, but it's really one. And I have, I just want to know, both of you guys, as in Pastor and Miss Minette, what is your specific definition of integrity?
My definition of integrity?
Yes.
The things that you say are the things that you actually do in terms of word and action match up. That's my simple definition of it. So you can have somebody who is doing wrong and is a person of integrity, and somebody who is doing the right thing, right, based on the standards that are out there in terms of integrity. I remember Minute jokingly said that to me one day. Yes. Your definition, Minute.
Yeah, because it's at the basic level, your private behavior is the same as your public behavior.
Right.
Maintaining the plainest meaning of integrity, that you are one. You're not divided, doing, as Percy said, doing one thing and saying another. You are one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And it was supposed to be like a twofold question, which is, for me, I put integrity / honesty in terms of the definition, but I omitted that just now when not purposely. So for me, I put them together. Honesty, integrity is that, for me, is being honest and truthful. I'm not just being truthful at any cost, whether it's going to be compromising your mental state or whatever people may think about you, or what you, you're there thinking that, oh, this one is going to think about me if they realize that I'm not honest or, I told a lie. But for me, it is living by that basic standard. And I mean, I have many enemies because I'm a principled person, and I really never cared because of the way I was brought up to be truthful at all times. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and that I never told a lie, but it has to be, there's a good reason, but this is how I'll put it in my daily living.
Yeah.
It has to be for a good reason. Not because it's going to save my butt. Maybe somebody else's over mine, but I really do live by my standards of being as honest as I can be and as truthful as I can be in life. I live by that. And I pride myself in doing so, not caring what people want to think about me. I never care about what you want to think about me, as long as I stand up for justice and stand for the truth. And I expect persons in my immediate surroundings to treat me in that respect. And I do the same, and I will cut people off when they do it. So it makes, for me, I don't have many persons I can call real, true friends because of how I live my life on a daily basis, And I like people respecting me, and I give respect to the persons who deserve my respect as well.
So
and that's what I'm done.
Yeah. So all that you're saying is good knowledge, good information for someone who wants to interact with you, do business with you on a personal level. But
and otherwise, generally.
well, we have been speaking about integrity as a principle that should be evident in the public officials, those who serve us.
Yes.
So the conversation or the discussion goes beyond just how you maintain integrity in the management of your affairs and your dealings.
Right.
In your dealings, you are permitted to be selfish. You're permitted to consider your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a public official, it requires you to consider the best interest of the public, even when it moves against your personal interest.
Exactly.
So, how does that affect? Even maybe because of how you described yourself, would that make you fit for public office, do you think?
Obviously, because if you're not going to compromise at any cost, which is what integrity is, no compromise at any cost. Be truthful to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, but there may be occasions when the truth is against the public interest. Speaking the truth as you in your that you believe in your personal capacity may not be in the public's interest. For example, a person of integrity may say, I go by my conscience. If I feel or I'm in favor of this or that, this is how I vote. But your feeling about it, what your conscience would dictate based on your personal bias or however you might be thinking, may well move against the public interest.
Yeah, but the truth is the truth. It doesn't negate, depending on how you feel, it's gonna.
You get what I'm saying, Pastor?
I hear what you say.
Because when we look at persons who are serving in public life need to have objectivity. They maintaining a position that I will speak the truth at whatever cost leaves you vulnerable to your subjective position on certain matters, causing you to step away from the standard of objectivity. I'm only kind of drawing you out on this because whatever you think and how you feel on a private level, that is your right. But persons who offer themselves for public office must be able to separate their personal feelings and positions from the work that they need to do as a public officer. And if there is any potential for conflict, they must be able to address it and be open about it. And an example would be Minister Malahoo Fort is overseeing a body of work. Persons are concerned that the very modern positions on things like abortion and homosexuality, buggery, whatever, that those modern views may somehow find themselves into the body of work she's doing. And she has come out and publicly said, on the matter of abortion, I have a personal position which will never find me agreeing with those who are proposing some liberality in that area. Mm-hmm. But she has to be able to separate her personal view from what might be necessary in the interest of the public who may have a different position. I use that to really make it clear what I'm saying and to draw out Pastor Percival on the subject matter.
Where you're going, you're coming from with that. For me, the truth is the truth. At all costs, the truth is the truth. The truth isn't bent in accordance with what we personally think when we know the truth. If we don't know the truth, and then we read something to make it fit into our feelings, then that's different. But at any cost, the truth is the truth. So we cannot call out the persons who are there in politics, like our MPs, the Prime Minister. We cannot call them out on lacking in integrity if we, as individual persons, in just a little everyday dealings with each other, we bend the truth and we do things that's dishonest to each other. That cannot be right.
Yes, so you're saying that persons who don't have a clean record themselves or clean hands cannot have an expectation that those who serve them should maintain a certain high standard.
Exactly my point, because we grew up with the simple saying, do unto others as we would have them do to us. And that's why I try to live by.
Yeah, but
Again,
you know,
I'm not
Denise,
perfect.
I disagree with you on that, because persons who are in prison, who are known offenders, who may be fraudsters, who may never have told the truth in any one day of their life, they are entitled to hold those who serve them accountable. You can't disentitle persons from their constitutional rights, so to speak, because they are undeserving. And if you think of it even from a spiritual, religious perspective, I say religious, you would be running counter to even what we know to be the whole purpose and intent of salvation is for sinners and guilty people. We only have one line, I'm being reminded.
I know. I was going to say that to you, that we won't agree on everything. So
yes.
the time for conversation, and I quite understand.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
thank
so
you.
if we had more time, we could have discussed it to the point where we find accommodation, because I know that you know the truth of what I just said.
Yes.
Yes, but at the same time, I do understand your point that we have to pull our standards of living and the way we behave up before we can be insisting that anyone else should be observing it. That's a moral stand. But on the legal side now, you're still entitled to hold them to those high standards.
I'll let you guys someone else. I know you have one line. So have a good day.
You too, Miss Denise. Thank you for calling.
That's kind of interesting. But
I see you rubbing your beard.
No, I'm just
Weighing
thinking
on it.
about. I'm just thinking about
Weighing on
where
it.
does your persons elect you based on the personal integrity that you have and the
Mhm.
issues that you vocalize and stand on.
I make a distinction between public life, how you behave in public life will require you to depersonalize certain things, and you have to be able to do that in order to serve. Some persons can't serve in public life because their personality, the way they think, the way they take decisions, the way they move would disqualify them. And it's not because they're bad persons, but and that's why integrity has to be looked at without overtones of morality. When I said to you at the time that a man who steals, and we know that stealing is not an act of honesty, a man who steals still have his code and will
We hear
hold to his
that.
code
But
and will observe his code in his dealings with others.
Yeah, but okay. Remember,
And that's the mark of his integrity, that his public and his private self are one.
right, which is what. But is there a place, and the lines are still open for your integrity?
Mm-hmm.
That where does it start? Is there a place? Where's the foundation? Do your values play a part in terms of your integrity?
Yes, it will say how you view matters. Like, because remember, these are principles.
No,
The principle of honesty.
But
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Miss Miller.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Yes, good morning, Pastor, and good morning to the engineer in command here. I want to big up to all callers and listeners worldwide. You know, I want to say all for one for all. In that manner, there can be no failure. One God, one human destiny. And one equal rights to all human race.
Yes.
Morning, Miss Minute. I want to talk to you about the Constitution.
Yes.
We think we as the ordinary citizens, we need to start make our own constitution, you know, make them know what we want in the constitution, you know.
Yes, I
because
agree. That is
to make the constitution. We have a proper say in it because then we make any type of law we hold it back.
So that is the whole purpose of good public consultation, that you get an opportunity to say what you want to see in the Constitution and fight for it.
Right. So what we want in the Constitution now is land for the landless, right? High officials in office, thief, the money and whatever they want to be sent to prison. Hard labor, right? And I'm gonna forget. I forget word.
You talk about you want to look at the Republic.
Right, yes. And what I say is, it must not be in any one person's name, right? Because at the moment, it's King Charles. All of the land in Jamaica is for King Charles, right? So, anytime we get rid of the king, it must be in the people's name. Want it in no Andrew name or no Golden name or no other person's name. It must be in the people's name.
People of Jamaica.
All the Jamaicans who don't have land should get land. Because one of the meaning of making money is when people have land.
Have land.
Right? And when all the people have land, then they will have to pay taxes, which they are in the country will make a lot more money. You understand?
I do.
Yes. And as you say, in the last time when we talk, the Constitution must be taught in the school. Right?
Yes.
Because if we're not right in America, I don't think you can be a citizen unless you know the Constitution,
That's true.
Right? So the Constitution is the main thing to make we know the right from wrong. So as we say, the land must for the people. And what we want at the Constitution again, they have a disclosure law wherein non-disclosure, wherein when officials keep with money like Petrojam, we have to make sure and pay them off quick that they go about their business go live a good life. That must not happen, it must change. Right? What do you think about that?
Well, it might not work its way into the Constitution, but it certainly will be in like the
regulation.
In the even what the Interior Commission does when those things happen, there are some procedures and regulations that apply to ensure that this confidential quick settlement that we have seen happen once or twice, that it does not happen.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a place for it.
Right. And as we say again, the Constitution must be written in Patois beside the English. Because as the other man can read to a limit and write. So when the Constitution builds a certain big word, you still not going to understand it. So we want it in English, it must be written in English and in Patois.
So you want it to be easy. All citizens must be able to understand it easily and to relate to it. It needs to be that, because there are some if you can't read, you can't if you cannot read, you will not read patois either, because reading is based on recognizing letters and the sounding when letters are put together. So even if the Constitution is read and people can get a version of it that is read, if you say it's in patois or whatever it is, but citizens should be able to have access to it in a real way.
Yes, and the thing is, when you're in patois, when you are another person, I tell the person who don't understand, he will get to understand easier and quicker. You understand?
Yes.
Yes. So we need it to be in patois alongside the English.
Yes.
Right?
And I'm putting that maybe Tosha should be. Yeah.
Yes, my brother, I'm hearing.
Are you from St. Elizabeth?
Yes, I was born in that parish.
Yeah, man.
I was born in St. Elizabeth.
Yes, about Santa Cruz,
Okay.
Oh, this is Barry. All right, Barry. Thank you for calling us.
Yeah, man. And me make a check,
Thank you.
All right.
Before I leave, I big up to my RF and BSFM family.
Go ahead.
I big up Jerry Suman, I big up Lady Lee, I big up Mr. Marston, I big up a couple of those people who come before you in the talk show, so big up for themselves. And,
thank you, Barry. I hope they're all listening.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
This thing of land is an important thing.
Oh,
I keep hearing it
yes.
over
Yeah.
and over again. And if the government not hearing us, the people them say they
They're
want.
trying, and it will be done.
We want to be a part
Anybody
of this
who do
exercise.
that will be long remembered. Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wayne, how are you?
Wayne. How
Do you
are
have
you?
a radio on somewhere?
No, turn off you know.
All right, good.
I go have Mr. Pastor.
Good morning, Wayne. How are you, my brother?
Mr. Pastor.
There, you know.
Mhm.
There, call yesterday to ask you a question. Do you think, Pastor, that most pastors
Mhm.
are really getting across the message of the Lord in the way that they should?
That's a deep one, Wayne. A lot of the times, you ask that question because you preach but you don't see the behavioral change that you're expecting, because that is when you know that what you are preaching makes sense, if you see people's behavior is being changed. So I would say I don't think so, or the people hear about them decide not to respond to the message that you've shared.
Why me ask a question here too, because as a man who read the Bible,
Mhm.
I'm taking notice of the Bible, how the prophets
Mhm.
or the messengers of the Lord, how them always speak of the misleadership from the head of the churches. Them can they call them synagogue or whatever.
I mean,
temples
the shepherds,
so,
yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, as them say, if the head not proper, it got hard for the rest of the body proper.
Mm-hmm. That's a general principle, yes.
All right. But me and Mr. Lawrence said this morning, you know, when you refer to them as blind. The political leaders there, I mean, they are laughing at Mrs. Lawrence. Come here, I say, all right. Suppose a blind man want to lead you, Mrs. Lawrence.
Yes.
On the levels, you can't to curse him if he want to lead you as a blind man. But when people, blind people are lead them, this is the judgment. That means two things. Out of them blind too, and not is them blind. You know, or I guess they must have been seeing. You know, say yesterday me I look on something on YouTube, some demonstration with some school thing and children, like the certain type of people.
Videos of Jamaica or
videos
of Jamaicans or
no,
different
in
countries?
America.
Okay.
Are the young children, people that must speak out is like what they call it LGTB people them. I like them want to portray their beliefs in life to the little children them. And the people them speak out till some of them turn out and a little riot thing, and you know, I'm here thinking, I'm saying that. Me notice when me used to go on Facebook or so, just voicing my opinion. I'm not I can't tell what is happening in the world, and just voicing my opinion. Me notice them block me to just voice my opinion. I mean, not speak not violent, nor nothing. Just show my view on things. When I speak against certain type of act.
Oh, they take you down. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and through that, me not to use it again and go back on it.
Oh.
But what I'm saying, they want to force feed them view upon us.
You wonder about how,
and it's like
how fair it is. You wonder how fair it is. They are free to talk, but you can't talk.
But it depends on
yeah,
what you're
and we not
saying.
preach violence, you know. We just have to say, all right, this is happening. This is our view.
And
Like we can talk about anything and give just our view. You don't have to run it with me. I say, just giving my view. I'm not speaking violence. I'm sure the reason why I say that.
Yes, well, you know that
You
when
know.
you go into a community, you agree to operate by the rules of the community, And if you do something which in your view is quite all right, but which by community rules are not permissible, they're gonna shut you down.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. That's what YouTube is a community, and it has rules. And one of the rules is you don't speak against other people's exercise of their natural rights and freedoms in a way that may be seen as promoting hate.
But speaking your view don't mean you promote hate neither.
No, it's just how you express your view, because there are some people who promote hate, as you know.
Yeah, but some people have asked in terms of how fair it is, because if somebody come and say, well, you kill all Christians, you don't get any, that's not hate speech. But if you come and say, oh, I'm wondering about...
Really? I don't think so. I think if you put up something about kill all Christians, it would be taken down. Let's take the break. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
All right, let's go.
You simply the You simply the
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Half a tree, 100, Bossy, how we do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop down and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience, and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Try and call them, because trust me.
Ah, what a relief.
Hey, Zay, let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Donna, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith that God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record label at Gmail. Almighty Jah.
Goodness mercy, it's me again, Lord, your restorer, your game changer. Join me every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Best FM 100. It's Apostle Clive Campbell, aka the Khaki Suit Man, coming to you from 8 to 12 Aaron Street, also Richmond District, Mandeville. Embrace the change.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Ready for the warfare, oh yeah. Ready for the
warfare. And the world, you want us back? We are back. The True Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM, 100.1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart. And of course, the boss shot, Apostle Marshall, come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Best 100 FM, Best 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to lick it till it bust.
Oh, yeah. Ready for the warfare. Ready for the warfare.
Half a tree, half a tree. Already, 200. Ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.
There will be days when you're too tired to move, to drive, but you think you have to because your vehicle won't wash itself, right? But no, you don't have to visit a car wash. 123 Mobile Car Wash will come straight to you. Yes, you heard right. 123 Mobile Car Wash is offering services in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. We shampoo and detail cars, trucks, offices, and more. No job too small. Call us at 876-631-3400. 123 Mobile Car Wash. We come to you.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Connection. It is now
6
minutes after
a.m.
9.
Is there someone on the line? Oh, because I really wanted to say this. Okay, so we had our caller Denise talk about integrity, what it means to her, and she asked what it meant to us. And I began to go into a discussion with her, wanting to highlight that the principle of integrity is only one principle for service in public life, only one. The others are you must demonstrate certain leadership characteristics in decision making and in the ability to self-correct. Honesty is a different principle from integrity, which is why we were saying that a person of integrity can also be dishonest. In their private life, they're dishonest. In their public life, they're dishonest. Integrity. They are true to who they are. And your job is to discern who that person is before you elect him or her to serve in a place where you know that they are not able to abide by one of the main principles for service in a public office. So you have leadership, honesty, openness. Somebody who's secretive, you can't even tell what color shirt them wearing, them hide it up, and if you ask, they want to know why you need to know. Everything about them is too secretive. Right away, you know that such a person might not be able to survive in an environment that requires openness. Some people don't mean to be dishonest by their secrecy, you know. Some have a difficulty articulating what they're really thinking. So they like to just do things and you interpret what you will from it. For example, Mr. Montague may really be completely above board in his dealings as Minister of National Security, but until he articulates what led him to take various steps, no one can really say. So openness, being able to say why you took such a decision and explain yourself is an important principle. If you can't be open about things, if like some of our public officials, when you ask them a question, they tell you that it's none of your business and they're serving in a public office, you're not eligible, you're not qualified to serve in the public. Accountability. If you're one who don't want to keep records and answer questions about what you're doing, not that you don't have the ability to be open, but you resent being asked to give an account of yourself. You think that people presumptuous to call on you for explanations, and you don't feel that your record keeping should be of a quality that persons can track what you've been up to. You're not eligible. You shouldn't offer yourself up. Objectivity. If you lack the ability to be empathetic, to stand in another person's shoes, or to step out of your own position and see things from a view that is not emotional and colored by either great morality or a lack of morality, if you cannot be objective, you're not eligible. Then comes integrity, being true to whomever you are. Public, private, self, one person. Selflessness. If you are one who can never separate your personal interest, what's in it for me? If you're the what's in it for me kind of guy, do not want near public service. Those 7 principles are what should be at the foundation of offering yourself for service. If any one of them give you great problems, or I wouldn't say maybe, if you find that, what number would you say? If you find that 3 or 4 of them problematic for you, don't bother with it. If you have a problem with 1 or 2 issues, maybe support staff and so on can handle it. Like accountability, you may decide that they mustn't ask any question, but your chief assistant will answer everything perfectly, so nobody ever really have to ask you any questions. We have a caller on the line. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, Miss Minutes. How are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing fine. And morning to you, Pastor.
Good morning, my dear. How are you? How is it in St. Elizabeth?
Yes, sir.
It's raining down there? It's raining?
Rain, yes, sir. We have rain down here.
That's good. News for us in Jamaica. Okay, you're the bread basket?
We are. Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a part of the Bible. There's a writing in the Bible that Jesus said to the daughters of Jerusalem, "Keep your weeping and your wailing for yourselves and for your children for that day that is coming upon you." Something like that. No, if I am wailing for Jesus and Jesus is going to tell me to keep my weeping and my wailing for myself and for my children, what is that saying?
All right,
what is that saying?
So he was in, trying to remember if it is Luke, and he was saying, don't weep for me, weep for yourselves and your children, because what is about to happen if people don't repent, it's going to be not good. So he was saying to them, guys, better you weep and intercede now for your children, because what I'm seeing ahead, if there's not a change and true repentance, you're going to have a problem.
So he's not basically saying I can't help you.
Oh, no.
No, he wasn't saying that. He wasn't saying that. No. He wasn't saying that. So when it was in the lead up to his crucifixion, and they were going, and he was saying, okay, because remember, let's get a context here. Remember before he came and he said, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, I weep for you because you do not know what is about to befall." And he was being prophetic because he was seeing in the future the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70 when it was crushed because of the rebellion and things. So that was one thing that we have to take into consideration. And then he was saying to the mothers, there's something that you must do. You have to begin to cry out for mercy for your children, because if you don't do it now, when it hits you, you're going to be so sorry. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I say something again? One more thing.
Go ahead, my dear lady.
Because I read the Bible and I question a lot of things. Because
that's all right.
You see, I
You must go with a heart to say, Lord, give me an understanding and revelation. Because it is I must tell you, reading it over and over again, it's like an onion. You read it and then you read and you peel off and you get a deeper understanding. And what helps people is, and that's why I'm saying you're reading it, if you can get different versions, because a lot of times you read it and you see this, but when you read another version, you get some other nuances that are there in the originals that you don't get in the interpretation. Okay.
in Genesis, right?
Yes.
It is said that the earth was null and void.
Yes.
The earth was null and void. Null and void means empty to most people, or the word null and void, the definition is empty, right? All right. If there was an empty world and God said, let us make man, who was God referring to as us?
Elohim.
The world was empty.
Elohim.
What you said?
Elohim.
The 3-in-1.
The 3-in-1.
Oh, the 3-in-1.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Elohim.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. That's it.
Right. Elohim. That's what he was referring to. So that even some of the times, well, we have to do another program to do some explanation. But that is Elohim. Let us. Let us. Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. So Elohim mean the Trinity then?
Yes, correct.
Oh. Well, Pastor, you need to teach some of the Bible on the program too, because you see, without knowledge, people perish.
I forget another program for that. So we talk to Mr. Shaw.
What we try to do is, as we are discussing the principles of governance and interpreting local happenings, we align it with scripture so you can pick up the pattern. And when you yourself are reading, or when you're looking at happenings around you in national life, you can go to the Bible to say, well, what does God say about this or that? Yeah, because the Bible is a beautiful template of all kinds of things, which you can find something on everything. I tell you, I find principles for foreign policy, the treatment of the people in the diaspora, which Ezekiel talks about them and says who they are, what the promises of God are for them, and the role that they will play for the country of origin. You can just find all kinds of beautiful things there.
Because I was looking in and I was wondering if it was a reset done from that time, null and void, was something nullified and voided at that time, and something, or there was some replacement there, and we don't understand it well.
Well, that is, I could, I'm tempted, but I'm not going to go there with you this morning. But, you WhatsApp us in the chat, and I'll talk to you about some of the questions you have.
Yes, sir.
So it is.
Have a pleasant morning and a good weekend. See you on Monday.
279-8473. That's WhatsApp. Send a WhatsApp in that.
79-8473.
Right. And just put the name number. Good. Bless
Take care now. Yeah.
Yes. It is. I tell people the revelation and the inspiration happens. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at what Big Truck is saying about what Wayne posted on social media. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Hey, Wayne, what did you post on social media? Can it be said on radio?
When?
No, one of the listeners is saying, so we would need to know what you posted
on
before we can dissect it.
Well,
nobody tell us, if even YouTube take you down.
YouTube will take
that means broadcasting commission.
Me just ask, why should a man want to, put his private, his penis in dodo?
Okay. No, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Isn't that madness?
All right. So
nastiness of the highest degree.
All right. So you see, if YouTube shut you down, Broadcasting Commission would take our liver.
Yeah.
But Pastor, I don't know, for all the speakers have a fling question to you,
All right. Let me keep out of the way.
So Pastor, imagine now, right? Me I go tell you, say you can you are do Christ work. And Christ said, if go to the world, tell them to turn away from them sin.
Yes.
Right? Now, me have my yard. And me ever tell you, say, you're not come in my yard, come tell me not about Christ. Right? But at the same time, you want to come in your yard. Come tell your little baby you grow there. To do the things that Christ said. No, to. No one forever will not tolerate them something there. What would you do, Pastor?
Okay, so what you it's a big concern now. And it's happening here and it's happening in parts of the States where parents are saying the first place of learning is a home. But even in some countries, and then the next place of learning in school, and people are up in arms and saying, no, we don't want our children to be exposed to what it is you are doing. We as parents are responsible for that. So there is a major thing that is happening in a lot of countries, and a lot of people are pushing back in terms of some agendas that people have. One, in terms of what are the rights that parents have over their children. Is it the parents who are responsible for their children up to a certain age, or is it the state? And some people are taking it to court. So that is the bigger question to my own mind that needs to be answered. Some people are saying, no, the state have right, and you have child, you as parent do have no right at all. No, that's what is happening.
Yeah, but at the heart of it, is a rewriting or a revisiting of the social contract that underpins society.
Yes.
We started off with the responsibility to educate our children. We still have that responsibility. When we, through the payment of taxes and the voting in of politicians and so on, put ourselves into a structure where we give them certain responsibilities over our affairs, and they begin to do things outside of what we contemplate, we are entitled to revisit it. So it is being revisited. You still have the right to keep your child at home and educate them. There are some principles to avoid truancy and abuse of children. But beyond that, you set the rules for your house, and you participate to the extent that you desire in what is publicly available.
Me just here said something. We have the right to keep our youth at our home, right?
Yeah.
But some
we have the right there.
You have that right. But in order to prevent certain abuses, because there are people who keep their children at home and don't treat them well.
Yeah.
So there
is a balance.
Arms of government that look out, and if you are homeschooling, there's a way to register and to participate in that kind of freedom.
Thank you very much for this information. Good day, listening.
Yes.
But that is a major discussion that is happening in a lot of countries. If you watch the news and what the children are being exposed to, and then parents are saying, what? Because I saw this video, this gentleman went before the school board in the States, and the girl's homework was to ask her father about his penis and ejaculation and all of those things. And him said, my daughter play with 10-year-old. She's a 10-year-old playing with Dolly, and I asked her how him feel. Yeah. You are, yes. That is the homework that the 10-year-old got.
It's radio. My expression was speaking volumes. Okay, so obviously you have to revisit the contract and consider what are the different things that, what are you prepared to participate in under this social contract?
Yeah, and as we said, the people, yesterday, there was an op-ed in the paper by Kay Osborne, that's her name, about the government
should fear the people, not the other way around.
And
we shouldn't be fearful of government.
Because, as I said earlier, in Romans 13:1, it speaks to the fact that government is put there to educate and to do justly on behalf of God.
Yeah.
When them step out of that and go against the very principles of God, we're gonna have a problem, and we continue to have a problem. And people are pushing back. Because in the state of Virginia, that was the real thing, The school boards were doing things, and the people then say, what is happening? happening here? And they took it out. What is happening here? Yeah.
All right. It has been an interesting morning of discussion. I didn't expect us to really spend so much more time on the
Integrity.
principles of public life, but it
It
seems
is
that
important. It has to be there.
requires
Because we
it.
have to be educating
Yeah,
the
it
people. Yeah.
requires it.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning.
Welcome. Is it the radio that's on, or there's a feedback? Good morning. All right,
I remember a point you made months ago
Mhm.
on radio, which you were saying that when government and law, and the basic thrust of your argument was that if people are working together in community and they can judge each other, and the policy they come up with a common understanding of principle.
Yes.
When that doesn't seem to work, that's when you move it into law.
Yes.
Because when you move common understanding into law, it's because you are saying, oh,
Moral suasion,
yeah,
setting it as a policy has not worked.
right. So you put it
you're
in
good.
law, so you put it in enforcement.
Give it teeth.
Right. But then even that is a social contract between the people and the people they choose to govern them.
Yes. Yes.
It's a social contract. So now you get in a pushback from a lot of people are saying, no man,
I didn't sign up for this.
no, me never envisioned that.
Yeah.
And so when government now says you're doing that, remember what happened in COVID? I mean, yes. And people are saying, no.
But I think even persons who are currently leaders in different sectors, I don't think they really ask themselves, how did this come to be? Why do we have schools? How did we come to have schools? The earth wasn't created with schools. What God created as a social unit was the family. And families grew into tribes. And if you have any desire for survival, to work in community. And after a while, as the numbers grew, it began to make sense, just as a matter of economics, to have 3 children in one room learning than one in the different houses taking up mommy's time. And after a while,
as a teacher.
and after a while, you say, you know what, big daughter, you teach them. And you can just see things evolving organically. And I'm not talking about the history of education or anything like that. I'm just saying, as a social animal myself, I can see how things will grow organically out of just the common everyday living. Before you know it, a man is a banker because everybody get tired of trying to settle things amongst themselves. They say, you know what? Pastor Percy is a trustworthy man. Let us just let him be the medium through whom we do all these things. Over time, industries develop, regulations develop, sector leaders develop. It all comes out of human activity and a desire to survive efficiently and to work cooperatively in a peaceful way. A man might say, no, me can't deal with Lowell when we have to negotiate so and so. You know what? I'm going to hire Lloyd to deal with Lowell for me. Before you know it, Lloyd is a broker. Things evolve out of human activity in a social context. The very premise on which these things evolve can be revisited, because if instead of Lloyd being a useful, profitable person in the mix, he becomes a humbug.
And he becomes a
Somebody going to
predator.
say, you know what? We can't bother with Lloyd. You better me do it myself.
And you see
And that's what I think governments and styles of governments are all under review. Coming out of the pandemic, where you began to see whether you're on your own or you have support, you begin to see some things. Everybody start to ask questions again. It's right that these questions are asked from time to time. Keeps us on our toes.
And it keeps us going forward and keep reinventing what needs to happen. Because if the contract the contract is not working on behalf of the majority of the people of yourself. We need to revisit. And I think that a lot of people are beginning to revisit that when they see a lot of things that are happening, and they say they're not working for us. It's only working for a set of people.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate because it was never set to be that way. Because if you can't trust somebody and make it somebody at work, and you can't trust if you can't work.
It's an aggravation where it should be a blessing.
Yeah.
It becomes an aggravation.
Yeah, and that is so.
So then we have to revisit, renegotiate.
Yeah, and I think that's what people are doing now and asking the questions. So even as we are into the constitutional reform, I think people are really saying we need to be a part of it. They don't want just
yes, don't leave me out. Don't leave me out. Yeah. All right, I just got my alert because I have a 10 o'clock appointment somewhere.
Yes,
not too far from here. So we're taking the 9:30 break now. When we return, I will have exited the studio. So I bless all of you with a great weekend and happy times, and stay dry as best you can, or wet if that's how you prefer to be.
By the way,
Pastor Percival, thank you.
Yeah, bless you.
Yeah, all right, we're going into the 9:30 break.
Hello. Pastor Howard Palmer here, coming to you from New York City, this and every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's right, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. this and every Saturday morning, right here on Best 100 FM. Don't you miss it.